Whoa, dudes and dudettes, it's Dan Mitri, totally the community manager here at DICE, to talk to you about our latest update to Battlefield 5, which is actually the second in the same month of January, which is amazing that we're actually able to deliver that cadence of updates, even though it's quite necessary given the laundry list of oopsies in the current state of the game. Prior to today's update, we actually hotfixed a script that allowed for the retroactive granting of company coin that people at level 50 were not accruing, so just like the plot of a bad comedy movie, you all got a ton of currency in your account when you woke up one day. Way cool! At least this way, we could try to retain people now that they can actually start to unlock shit as an incentive to keep on playing. Oh, and those bugs that we added in the last patch, like delay between the kill card and bleed out screen, the bleed out circle not having the timer ring around it, and frontlines basically getting fucked even though the game mode is still shit compared to Battlefield 1. So you're welcome, bro, for fixing all the shit that we added in, which could have been found out had we had a CTE program, but we'll add that into the never-ending list of known issues that we're revamping on Reddit and secretly getting rid of a few so that it doesn't look like we have so much work to do. Oh, and we toned down those footsteps that we added with the last patch that were so loud because we wanted to mimic the terror of actually being in World War II, hiding from the Nazis straight out of an Anne Frank book for all those players that complain about the lack of historical accuracy. Gnarly, man. Same goes for our vaulting and mantling improvements for the last patch, as we introduced a bug whereby players would be invincible if they were performing a high vault, because even though it was still broken, it was better than dying when you hit the ground after hopping over a fence. Speaking of things that were added in a previous patch, we added some functionality to the practice range, like being able to shoot Panzerstorm, skeet shooting, grenade practice, and range ribbon viewing. Wait, what's that? Without being able to use your own personalized weapons and vehicles with all those sweet specializations on them, the practice range is basically useless still? Major bummer, dude. The Panzerstorm map isn't supposed to get integrated into other game modes besides Conquest until next month, but we're at least going to make it not suck in the single game mode that it is actually playable in. We are completely reworking the swine farm flag because we recently watched a crazy documentary about bad conditions of the pork industry and decided instead of going vegan, we should give them a few more buildings for the pigs to be put in instead. Additionally, we added lots of cover in the form of more fortification spots because we need to leech off the most popular game in the world given our poor sales, additional trenches and alleys between all the flags, as well as bushes which were somehow bulletproof, but now they're not. Radical, man. Hopefully you can test out all of these changes if you can actually find a server that's playing on this map. In other game mode related fixes, Domination and Team Deathmatch no longer have kill streaks, I mean reinforcements available to the squad leader, because they're not really intended for game modes that aren't actually playing the real Battlefield experience. They're for those casual nerve herders. We also fixed a bug with the rando spawn that would tell players that the deploy point is no longer available, even though it should be always there for you, like listening to your favorite punk albums, even in the bad times of getting your squad wiped. We made bipod deploy improvements, so this way you're not making pretend that you're in a mosh pit flailing around trying to figure out if you can shoot or not and how far to the left or right you can actually aim those MMGs, which are a groovy idea that you could only ADS when the bipod is actually down. So hopefully this lessens the amount of people being forced to lay prone that aren't doing one of our Mondo assignments, which you can't change unless you go back to the main menu still somehow. Guess that should be on the known issues list. While on the subject of prone, instead of standing back up immediately after going prone if there's no room for you, we now added a prone block feature, so this way your character won't react at all when you press the button, and there's no text on the screen to let you know that this prone block happened. That's in the coming soon black hole, so have fun trying to figure out why the input action didn't actually happen. In other text updates, the chat on console is finally back, so you can ignore those orders from your squad leader and neglect to thank medics or supports for actually doing their fucking job, as well as added a background in the newly added in the previous patch weapon customization screen, so that this way you're actually able to see the white text on the white snow level backgrounds. It's too bad our UI designer designers are so awful that this wasn't something they thought about beforehand, and it doesn't apply to all aspects of the UI that's white text on white background. Crazy, yo! Lastly, in text updates, players won't get a class-violating server rules message as a bug when you unlock the new weapon in a prior round, which is an error message that we put in the game for servers that have custom weapon rules, but there is no rental server program in Battlefield 5 currently. As I posted on Reddit, we might not even have an RSP in Battlefield 5 because of both the usability and financial concerns, which is odd considering that EA actively decided to kill off third-party servers that had superior functionality and lower cost values associated with them because EA wanted all of the money instead of just some of the money. I'll just refer you to this post that doesn't say no, but also doesn't say yes in classic DICE fashion. Oh, and I'm not sure why we had an entire write-up about the Stug 4 tank and the patch notes when that isn't available until mid-February, like most of the other cool shit that we said we were putting in our game being part of our live service buzzword. If you scroll through the pages of rewards, you could clearly see that it's not available until the week starting on February the 14th, so instead of spending time with girls, you virgins can unlock a tank instead. Far out. Maybe had we not had so many accidental foot and mouth moments about our game, more people would be excited about playing it, but since we've been offering less on launch and are somehow behind on our roadmap, we've got to entice people to play by not making those previous Tides of War Chapter 1 unlocks available for people that weren't in on the action the first time to get those fear of missing out people, even though I posted on Reddit that the intention is to bring them back, but don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Man, being a community manager, especially in a game that constantly lets their fans down, is exhausting work. Maybe I'll take a ride on my bike, blasting music to get in the right frame of mind for providing the next vague set of answers that I properly can.